Section 5.1 Homework. Number 1. Find the additive inverse of each of the following integers. Write the answer in the simplest possible form. An additive integer is a number that when you add it together, that it equals 0. So in order to do that, we will just need to change the sign. So the additive inverse of 15 is negative 15. The additive inverse of negative 18 would be positive 18. All right, then the next two we're going to simplify. Okay, so here we have negative times negative makes positive, so this will be positive 2. And here, remember that the absolute value means the distance from 0, and it makes the number positive, so absolute value of negative 47 is 47. So number 4, demonstrate each of the following additions using the charge field model. Remember, that's with the positives and negatives. So I'm going to draw it off to the side, and then we'll pick the picture that goes correctly with it. So we're going to start with negative 3 plus 5. So I'm going to do 3 negatives and 5 positives. And so that picture looks like A. And then remember, these cancel each other, and we're left with positive 2. The next one's similar numbers, but we changed some signs. So negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives, and 3 positives. So we look for the one that has the 5 negatives, 3 positives, which is D. Then we can cancel out. We're left with 2 negatives, so negative 2. The next one, we have negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and adding negative 4. So there's all negatives. We have 2 rows of 4. That's B. Nothing to cancel out, so that gives us negative 8. For D, we have positive 6 and negative 4. So we look for the one that has 6 positives and 4 negatives. So that would be B. When we cancel out, we end up with 2 positives. So then my answer is 2. All right, for number 5, we're using the number line. Now remember, some things with number lines, we always start at 0. Positives go forward and negatives backward. Okay, so always start at 0, and we also, remember, face in the positive direction. And that will change when we get to subtraction. Now, on here, it just says to plot the point, but remember, I'm going to be looking for that work. So I'm going to show all of the work. I'm going to start here, facing the right. I want to see arrows. So it goes positive 5 and then negative 7. So my little person is still facing the right. So negative 7 means backwards. 7, make sure those numbers are on there, and so we get negative 2. So your answer should have a point on negative 2. Going to do the same thing here. My little hiker starts facing right. We're starting with negative 5, so I'm going to go backwards 5. We're adding, so he's still going to face right. And then he goes positive 7, so forward 7. Ends at positive 2. Part C, negative 3 plus 3. My little hiker faces right. Negative 3 means backwards 3. I'm adding, so he's still going to face right. Backwards another 3. It's going to land at negative 6. Part D, facing right, goes +1. Still facing right. Now he's going to go -9. It's going to go this way 9. Make sure to put a -9 up there and end up at -8. Number 6 uses subtraction. So remember, when subtracting, the hiker changes direction. Or hiker turns around. Okay, so this is where knowing which way. Do not change these to addition problems. So if on A you give me -6 + 7, I'm going to count it incorrect. Okay, so our hiker starts here at 0, always facing right. First number is -6. So I'm going to go backwards 6. This means turn around. So now he's facing left. So now his forward would be left and his backward would be right. -7 says go backward 7. He's going to end up here at +1. All right, part B. So facing right, first number is -3, so backwards 3. This minus means turn around. And then this is a +1, so he'll go 1 forward. Make sure that's a +1 up there. Ends at -4. All right. All right, so we start with +1. The minus means turn around. And he's going to go backwards 4. So make sure that's a -4. Ends at 5. All right. The last one, he goes forward 2. Turns around. And then goes forward 7. Ends up at -5. Now, make sure you can do these with charged field model also. Look back at the examples so that you can do that also. And there's some more in the practice worksheets. All right, moving forward. Number 7, in each of the following, write an addition or subtraction expression and then solve the problem. Okay, so the part A says the hottest temperature ever recorded in a certain state is 124 degrees. It was recorded on July 6, 1936. Less than 5 months later, February 15, 1936, the lowest temperature in the state was recorded. What is the difference between the hottest and lowest temperatures? So difference tells us we're going to subtract. So we're going to have 124 minus the -57, which we know is 124 plus 57, because minus and negative changes to plus, and we get 181. Part B, the temperature was -1 degrees Fahrenheit and then rose by 16 degrees. What is the new temperature? Okay, well, it started at -1. It rose, so it got bigger, by 16 degrees. So -1 plus 16 gives me 15. Okay, the temperature went down from 40 to -10. How many degrees did the temperature fall? So it started at 40. We're going to subtract the -10 to figure out where it landed. or how far down it went. Minus a negative turns into plus, so that's going to give us 50. Okay, the next one, Brooke's house had a temperature of 52 degrees. She put the heat on and the temperature rose by 15 degrees. As she was still cold, Brooke lit a fire which increased the temperature by 14 degrees. What was the temperature in the house then? Okay, so it started at 52, rose by 15, and then rose by 14. So we add those together, and we get 81 degrees. Okay, this one we're supposed to investigate the number line E manipulative and then figure out which one of these represents this number line. Okay, so remember we always start at 0. Okay, so here's 0. The one that starts at 0 is here. It goes left 2, so negative 2. Then it goes right 1, 2, 3, so add 3. And then left 1. So it would be negative 2 plus 3 plus negative 1. So the answer that gives that is B. Number 9, we're looking at addition of integers using the charge field model. So if I'm looking at this one, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positives and 4 negatives. So 7 plus negative 4 is going to give me A. All right, now this one is a subtraction one. And so remember earlier I said you need to know how to subtract. So remember that means putting positives and negatives in. So what this one started off with was negative 4. And we're taking this part out, so that's taking out, subtract 0, which would leave me with negative 4. So make sure to watch the video on subtraction of integers and do a little extra practice because those are a little bit harder. If you have any further questions on section 5.1, please use the Ask My Instructor option under the Help menu, and I'd be happy to help you.